네, 여러분 안녕하세요. 오늘은 드디어 우리의 형제 데스몬드 형님을 드디어 만났습니다. 그래서 갑자기 저도 모르고 있었는데 그 뉴욕 익스체인지에서 뉴욕 증권거래소에서 들어가서 이제 앉으려고 했는데 오시더라고요. 어떻게 왔냐라고 했더니 초대를 또 받았대요. 며칠 전에 받아서 급하게 오느라 연락을 못했다고 했는데 오늘 또 이렇게 애널리스트 데이에서 무슨 얘기를 했는지 함께 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. Hi, Desmond.
Hi, Sean.
Would you say hi to the
Hello,
subscribers?
안녕하세요. Hello, INQ family. It's great to be speaking with you. It's great to finally meet Sean in person. When I saw it was like we've known each other for years because
Yeah.
we have known each other for years. But just to be in person it's just meant a lot. And we have an instant connection. And it's just he's a I will tell you, for anyone who hasn't met him in person, he's even better in person than he is on YouTube. So he's just so it's just been a great day. I've had a really fun day.
I'll do a little translation. 여러분들 너무 반갑습니다. 제가 데스먼드이고 이제 가을바람이랑 여러 번 줌으로 인터뷰를 했는데 실제로 만났는데 이제 뭐 처음 보는 게 전혀 어색하지 않았고 저를 실물로 보니까 훨씬 나았다고 하네요. So, what did you think about today's analyst day?
There was it was like two or three sporting events
Right,
all in
right.
one. It was like the Super Bowl, the World Cup, the Olympics all together. There was so much information. Yeah, it was just awesome. It was awesome.
오늘 마치 제가 애널리스트 데이 어땠냐고 여쭤보니까 여러 개의 스포츠 경기를 한 번에 본 것처럼 너무 멋있었고 너무 많은 정보들이 있었다. So what part did you like particular?
I just thought all the presentations were really honest. It was the most like Nicola De Masi and when everyone was speaking, it was like I told you, I was like they're really showing the real numbers. They did just say we're faster or we're better. There's actually numbers being revealed with it. So I thought that was really something new. Like they were very concrete, and so I like that. It wasn't just we're going to do great things. There was really concrete numbers next to it. So I like that a lot.
제가 어떤 점이 마음에 들었냐고 여쭤보니까 이제 기존에는 조금 애매하게 뭐 더 좋아진다 이랬는데 이번 프레젠테이션 때는 뭔가 이 구체적인 숫자들을 던져주면서 이만큼 나아졌다, 이만큼 개선됐다 이런 부분들이 훨씬 좋았다 이렇게 좀 얘기를 해주시네요.
Because even as a supporter, you believe in the team and you believe in what they're doing, but it's so much more real when they have like concrete facts. When they're like, here's an example, this is what we've done, here's an example, and so I thought that was really important. Another thing that I noticed was I'll let you begin.
그래서 그런 우리가 아무리 아이온큐를 좋게 생각해도 좀 애매모호하게 뭐 그냥 좋다 이렇게 얘기하는 부분들이 좀 있었는데 이번에 이제 프레젠테이션 슬라이드를 나중에 보시면 아시겠지만 뭐 경쟁사들에 비해 몇 배 정도 나아졌다 이런 구체적인 숫자들을 보여줬던 게 이제 이 회사를 신뢰할 수 있는 좋은 계기가 됐다.
Another thing I noticed was that they weren't afraid to call out their competitors.
Right.
For years, it was
change.
always like we're working on our thing, and they never mentioned they weren't as
aggressive.
competent, right? And this time, right on the slide, I remember I touched you, and I was like, look at the right side of the slide. It's like we're better than Inflection, we're better than IBM, we're better than PsiQuantum, we're better than Quantinium. We're like naming them, And I thought, wow, to me that shows a lot of confidence that your execution is doing really well. So that I noticed that right away.
그래서 특별히 또 눈에 띄었던 점이 뭐 경쟁사들보다 얼마 정도 좋았다라고 하는데 애매하게 그냥 경쟁사라고 하는 게 아니라 뭐 IBM, 퀀티니엄, 사이퀀텀, 인플렉션 같은 구체적인 경쟁사들을 언급해서 이렇게 공격적으로 노골적으로 우리가 더 낫다라고 했던 게 처음이어서 놀랐고 그만큼 자신감이 있구나라고 생각을 했다라고 합니다.
I also noticed one of all the acquisitions, the one that was least highlighted or ever talked about was ID Quantique. This time, ID Quantique had a big role, and the CEO was there talking about it. And they also mentioned SK Telecom and how they want to integrate quantum all the way through into the digital backbone of South Korea. So I think ID Quantique and South Korea is going to be a major story in this next chapter. I think that there's a reason why those two stories were right next to each other. I think that's going to be important for IQ going forward.
그리고 또 중요했던 점이 이제 여러 인수했던 회사들 중에 가장 소외됐던 게 이제 ID 퀀티크인데 그 회사를 이번에 굉장히 많이 언급을 했습니다. 그리고 SKT까지 언급을 했기 때문에 이제 앞으로 아이온큐가 이런 한국 경제의 디지털 백본까지 이제 깊숙이까지 관여해서 뭔가 이 한국 쪽에서 많은 걸 하겠구나라는 걸 추측할 수 있었고 실제로 ID 퀀티크의 CEO까지도 네, 이 자리에 올 만큼 굉장히 강조되는 부분이었다. 그 부분이 놀랐다라고 하시네요.
And another thing that I felt right away, and I told you in the room, was the talent density.
Right.
I mean, they had these individuals on stage, and each of them were very, very senior people,
Big figures.
big figures. And what I told you was what I think is significant is that when these big figures come to a small company like IQ, there's something very serious there, because a lot of times young companies or start companies, they'll get young people to come and drop everything. But when you have someone who's in a senior career position, they have kids, they have education to pay, they have a house payment, they have all these commitments in life that they're not going to leave a secure position for something that isn't real. So to have so many of these people in very, very late career, senior career positions moving over, it's because they believe that there's something significant happening there.
I mean, Nicola was the youngest there, right?
He was the youngest by far.
But he was
by
so
far.
good at managing those people
Yes,
in front
yeah.
of the audience.
Yeah, because, and I think that might be his best skill.
Right,
Sean? Because a lot of times when you bring it's managing egos.
Right.
You know, all these people have they're brilliant people, so everyone is very, very smart, very talented. How do you manage all those egos? And I think that might be his greatest skill, is being able to handle that. Yeah.
그리고 그 이벤트 중에 이제 파이어사이드 챗이라고 해가지고 이제 주요 임원들을 모시고 이제 CEO가 질문을 하면은 그 임원들이 대답하는 뭐 대중들이 궁금해할 법한 거를 이제 얘기해주는 그런 자리가 있었는데 니콜로 데마시 CEO가 40대 초반으로 가장 어리고 거기에 나왔던 사람이 릭 뮬러,
Marco Pistoia,
Robert Cadillo, and
Yes.
who was the last one?
the first one that was next to him.
Rotler?
Yeah, Martin Rutler.
Rotler.
Yes.
그 사람들이 이제
Perhaps,
나이가 뭐 최소 50대고 뭐 국장급 뭐 마이크로소프트에서 he was like a team leader. For
He's the
Quantum,
head,
right?
he's the head of apps.
Oh,
So
Quantum applications.
Martin Rutler, he handles all of the applications, and then Marco Pistoia is he's going to be doing industry relations, but
right.
he came from JP Morgan and really quantum finance. So these are all very senior people.
이 사람들이 최소한 30년 정도의 경력을 가진 어마어마한 베테랑들인데 그런 사람들을 이제 니콜로 데마시가 굉장히 본인이 어림에도 불구하고 그 사람들을 잘 매니징하고 뭐 질의응답을 이끌어내고 이런 것들을 보면서 우리가 이 사장이 이런 사람들을 데려오는 것뿐만 아니라 잘 관리하는 게 굉장히 뛰어난 역량이구나라는 걸 알았고 젊은 사람들을 데리고 오는 게 아무래도 편하잖아요. 자기가 이제 매니징하기. 근데 이렇게 나이가 있고 거물급들이 들어온다는 거 그거는 이제 분명히 우리가 보지 못하는 뭔가가 있기 때문이다. 아이언큐한테 분명히 좋은 사인이다라고 얘기를 해주셨습니다.
I thought what else was really interesting was Inder Singh.
Interesting, right.
He was so confident and so comfortable and at ease. You could tell this is someone who's been at the highest levels.
Yeah, he was so relaxed.
He was so relaxed, right? Because he was like
interesting.
I've been the head at he was in a Cisco, that big company. He was a big lead there. ARM, which is a big semiconductor company, he was a big top lead there. There was just such a comfort and an ease. That's confidence, and that's a different. It's a different energy, isn't it? You know, rather than people who are it feels like people who are building something new and just starting versus folks who are like very confident and know how to, you know, they know how to make the next move. They're not guessing. Yeah. So I thought that was telling too.
그래서 우리 앞자리에 이제 인더싱 CFO이자 CEO이자 아이언큐 어떻게 보면 2인자인데 그분이 앉아 계셨어요. 근데 그분이 발표를 마지막에 했는데 굉장히 편안하게 발표를 하시더라고요. 그래서 그 자신감이 굉장히 좋았고 또 만약에 이런 일을 처음 해보거나 경험이 없으면 굉장히 떨고 긴장하고 그런 모습이 나왔을 텐데 되게 이제 청중들을 이렇게 압도라기보다는 이렇게 잘 데려가면서 본인이 할 말을 되게 잘 하더라고요. 그래서 아이온큐에 또 다른 굉장히 뛰어난 인재가 왔구나 이런 것들을 알 수 있어서 굉장히 좋았습니다.
And the main takeaway I have about this, my experience with everyone today was there is no chance, I can say this now on video, there is no chance IonQ is trying to get acquired.
That's
There is
interesting.
no, these are not people who are positioning themselves to get acquired. These are people who are like, we're going to be the top company in the world. That's the mentality and that's the energy. Like Chris Balance, we talked to Chris Balance from Oxford Ionics. He was not going to merge with IonQ if IonQ was just going to sell itself to a bigger company. His goal is to be the best, right? And so I just the sensibility, the mentality is to execute at the highest level and to win. This is a team that wants to win, not do just enough so someone wants to acquire. It's not about acquisition for them, and that was very telling in my conversations with folks.
그리고 이번에 이 얻었던 가장 큰 교훈 중에 하나가 이 행사를 봄으로써 아이온큐가 인수합병될 생각이 별로 없는 것 같다라고 생각을 하셨는데 그 이유는 이번에 온 거물급들이 이제 단순히 이 회사가 다른 데 인수된다면 그걸 만약에 조금이라도 알았다면 그 사람들이 오지 않았을 거다. 그 사람들이 이제 최고였고 또 아이온큐에 온 이유는 또 양자 분야에서 최고가 되기 위함이다. 그래서 일례로 드신 분이 이제 옥스퍼드 이오닉스의 크리스 발라스 CEO가 오셨는데 그분 같은 경우도 이제 자기 분야에서 이온 트랩의 충실도에서 1등이었는데 이 회사랑 와서 뭐 대충 인수되고 끝난다? 그럴 사람이 아니다. 그래서 본인이 봤을 때는 이번 행사를 통해 아이온큐가 인수합병을 뭐 큰데 시키고 그냥 엑시트한다? 이건 아니다라고 생각한다라고 합니다.
I don't know what the correct expression would be in a Hangul model, but it's a competitive fighting spirit. Like these are competitive people. They're very smart. You meet them and they're like, oh, they just seem like very smart engineers and scientists and thoughtful because they are.
Right.
But right beneath the surface there is a competitive fight. Like these are people who want to win, and so that the acquisition is just that's not who these people are. That's not who this group is. They're assembling people who want to win, who are competitive. I think that's important.
그리고 오늘 그 나왔던 그런 핵심 임원들의 공통적인 모습이 겉으로는 되게 유하고 되게 막 그냥 똑똑해 보이고 이러는데 실제로는 파이팅이 넘친다는 거죠. 속으로 이제 우리는 쟤네랑 경쟁 붙어서 이길 거야. 이런 것들을 좀 많이 느꼈다고 합니다. Then I want to talk about the other side, negative things. So what I thought was they laid good foundation, but they didn't share with us any technological actual advancement or reducing their negative profit. Or I don't know how to put it, but what do you think about in that terms?
I'm not concerned about the spend because they as soon as they got that $1.6 billion in pro forma cash, as soon as they raised that money, that was a signal to all of us that they were going to be in hyper growth mode. Meaning they got all this cash. Then they hired David Chung. He's the new VP. Yeah, we met him. He's the new VP of Business Development. He specifically, he's sick. That signal is there's going to be inorganic growth. So inorganic growth meaning we're going to be acquiring. We're going to be there are more pieces here, and also with Inder Singh, what was the first thing he said? He was like, "Yes, the tech is great. Yes, the people are great, but how well capitalized are you? I want to know about the money." So I think I would say that. Yes, they have the cash, but also I think they're very well capitalized and in a great position. Otherwise, there's no way he would have accepted that position. So, I think for the stage that they're in, which is scaling, they want to scale. That's what separates them from all the other quantum companies is you have to be able to scale. Once you can start manufacturing and producing and that's what makes them a whole different type of company. And then they get rated, the stock will get re-rated. Right? Because right now, IonQ kind of moves like everybody else does, right? Because everyone thinks quantum is all the same. By scaling and making these investments, that's how people go, well, these other four are like this, but IonQ special. And so it gets a different stock rating.
So David hinted that there will be more mergers in the future?
He didn't hint that. What I'm saying is him being hired hints that. That whole job, the title is VP of Business Development. So basically basically what that job is, it's looking around for acquisitions. Like what companies could, so that's what that role is basically.
Really?
Because remember, that's what Jordan Shapiro used to do.
Yeah.
Jordan Shapiro, before he went to be president and general manager of networking, he was really a part of that, that identifying entangled networks, Cubitech, and doing all that kind of work. That's what David's role is going to be, is really looking for that type of and with the technological gates, I think it's always with them, Sean. It's a question of timing. Like they might be there, but it depends on what announcements they want to make when, because IonQ doesn't like doing one-off announcements. They like doing two things together.
Right.
So they're going to probably want to make it a technology announcement with a customer deal, like something like. I just noticed that they never do one. They like to have two things together. So yeah, I mean, I think all of us would have loved to have like you said, a big announcement, a big reveal. But that's what we're always kind of anticipating. But for me, they really gave the what stuck out to me was the tone. They're speaking differently. We've been listening to them for years, and it just sounds like a very different company. It's much more competitive and much more aggressive. And so it seems a lot more confident to me. Yeah.
제가 여쭤본 게 이제 좋은 얘기들은 이제 거기까지 잘 들었고, 이제 부정적인 얘기를 좀 해보면은 기술적인 진전이나 뭐 매출 면에서 큰 뉴스가 나온 게 없지 않냐 라고 말씀을 드렸더니, 이제 아이온큐가 경쟁사들이랑 똑같이 주가가 움직이는 게 아직은 외부에서 봤을 때 다 비슷하다라고 보는데, 아이온큐가 이제 그런 거물급들이 들어오고 이제 필요한 회사들을 인수하면서 이제 달라질 준비를 하고 있다는 거죠. 특히 데이빗 청이라는 이제 DMI 그룹의 상무급이죠. 이제 해리유가 있었고 니콜로가 있었고 데이빗 청이라는 사람이 이제 상무급이었는데, 그 사람이 아이온큐의 사업개발 전무로 왔어요. 그래서 실제로 저도 만나고 얘기를 해봤는데 한국계더라고요. 그래서 교포라서 한국말을 못했는데, 그분이 이제 하는 일이 결국에는 M&A를 하는 거고, 필요한 기술이 있으면 가져오는 거다. 그래서 아이온큐가 지금 한 17억 불 정도 확보를 했어요. 그래서 인더싱이 뭐 다른 회사들도 좋고 뭐 이길 수도 있고 하지만, 제일 중요한 건 뭐냐면 아이온큐는 빵빵한 현금을 가지고 있다, 이걸 강조했는데, 그걸로 결국에 또 필요한 회사들을 살 수 있기 때문에 이제 확장성, 이제 본격적으로 기술적으로 보여주고 매출 내는 거, 이거 준비가 됐다는 거죠. 그래서 그건 시간이 지나면 나올 거고, 또 아이온큐 같은 경우는 여러 뉴스를 한 번에 내는 걸 좋아하기 때문에 기술적인 진전이나 큰 계약들, 고객 수주 같은 거를 뭐 지금 당장은 안 나온 게 좀 아쉽긴 하지만 또 모아서 조만간 내지 않을까, 이런 생각을 가지고 있다라고 합니다.
So here's a technology announcement. It wasn't an official technology announcement, but it kind of was a technology announcement. Was seeing Chris Monroe on stage.
Oh, right.
Remember, like he had left, and then he was kind of saying negative,
he just
disappeared, and then kind of making sort of negative comment. Now he's on stage as the scientific, smiling, making very positive IQ statements. You could tell, like, he's excited. He clearly, the people that have all the world records against him. Remember, he had the world record, and then Mahir took a world record, and then Chris took the world record. They were competing, and now they're on his team. And you could just tell he's like a coach that feels like really excited. And so, and again, I think that him being on that stage also speaks to something special about Nicolo. Because I think Nicolo figured out how to repair that relationship, right? He did something happened there that repaired that relationship, where he went from I'm angry in a huff to now I'm back in the fold and on stage and so to me that is a big technology announcement, that Chris Monroe is back on the team and excited and engaged. So that I think that is significant.
Did you know that when he appeared on the stage, the stock price soared?
Oh wow.
instantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you're right.
Right, like there's just something there, right? Where you
Right.
kind of go, oh wow, like it
Before,
was,
he abandoned IonQ, but
Yeah.
he came back.
but he came back,
Yeah.
right? Like so, it lets you know that I don't think it was a technical reason. I think it was a personality
Maybe
reason.
with Peter Chapman or something.
I don't know. We don't
Right,
know,
right.
but I kind of feel like there's a skill set that Nicolo has
That's a
where
good point.
you know. But I think it's significant that the founder of the company who really has this technology like the legacy for the company is back in front and center and wants to be present on an analyst day, wants to be a part of it. So I think the results from that, we're going to see a lot of positive benefits from that technology wise.
그리고 또 한 가지 주목하셨던 게 크리스 몬로 박사님이 이제 아이온큐 공동 설립자였는데 한 2, 3년 전에 떠나셨죠. 그래서 그때는 조금 이거 좀 뭔가 관계적인 문제가 있어서 떠난 것 같다라고 생각했는데 이번에 스테이지에 올라와서 웃으면서 아이온큐에 대해 굉장히 긍정적인 얘기들을 해주고 내려가셨습니다. 그래서 실제로 크리스 몬로 박사님이 스테이지 그 무대에 올라오자마자 주가가 튀었거든요. 그래서 아마 니콜로 데마시 CEO가 이런 사람 관리, 관계 관리 이런 걸 잘해서 아마 뭔가 아이온큐에 뭔가 힘들거나 감정적으로 상한 게 있었는데 그걸 잘 해결해서 돌아온 게 아닐까. 그래서 아이온큐한테 굉장히 좋은 일이었고 주가도 반응을 했고요. 또 크리스 먼로 박사와 크리스 발라스 이쪽 옥스퍼드 이오닉스랑 서로 이온 트랩의 최고봉이기 때문에 서로 경쟁하면서 1, 2등을 하던 데인데 제가 알기로는 크리스 먼로 박사님이 크리스 발라스 박사랑 일하고 싶어서 돌아왔다라고 알고 있거든요. 그래서 이런 환경들을 조성하고 인간적인 관계나 갈등을 풀어가는 게 지금 아이온큐 CEO인 니콜로 데마시가 잘하는 게 아닌가 이런 인사이트를 또 얻을 수 있었고 그런 것들로 인해서 주가가 오른 게 아닐까 좀 생각을 하는데 So why do you think IonQ's stock price soared today? It went up like 18%.
Yeah, always with IonQ, it's difficult to I think that here's what today really was, Sean. It was about that IonQ isn't a quantum hardware play.
Ah, right.
It's a platform.
Right.
Once people understand that, it's a full stack. Full stack meaning hardware, software, compiler, and applications. So you have hardware, software, compiler, applications, right? It's all of that, which no one else has. That's when people start understanding that, I think it lifts. Here's another thing, I think probably why. They said the word intelligence, defense, cybersecurity a lot. So they said it over and over again. And when you say cybersecurity, people know how big a market that is. So if people think of quantum as, we can just do cool experiments, things faster. Well, okay, it's interesting, but it's not like a must-have. They're reframing it to this is about cybersecurity. Within 3 years, everyone's going to need to be protected from us. So when people hear that, they're like, this thing is coming. Like nations and countries and banks and everyone's going to need this now. And so I think that was really what they were trying to tell people is that the sense of urgency, and that's when they kept emphasizing the word cybersecurity, and I think that's what the market heard. Because when you think of cybersecurity, you think of CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, right? Like right away, there's a market where there's going to be demand there. Yeah.
그래서 제가 오늘 주가가 왜 18%, 17% 올랐는지 혹시 왜 그렇게 올랐는지 생각하시냐라고 여쭤봤더니 아이온큐가 양자 풀스택이라는 걸 오늘 굉장히 강조했어요. 하드웨어, 소프트웨어, 또 어플리케이션까지 다 하고 있다는 걸 이제 뭐 다이어그램으로도 보여주고 설명도 하고 그러면서 이제 양자 하드웨어만 하는 게 아니라 이 진짜 풀스택 회사다, 양자 인프라 회사다라는 걸 강조했는데 그걸 이제 애널리스트들이 좀 이해하기 시작하면서 또 매수세가 많이 들어온 게 아닌가 그 생각을 또 했고 아이온큐가 이제 국방, 첩보, 사이버 보안 얘기를 많이 했는데 사이버 보안 하면은 뭐 팔로알토 네트워크스랑 크라우드스트라이크 같이 단기간에 급성장했던 이런 기업들이 있고 그 사이버 보안 시장이 워낙에 큰데 무슨 얘기를 했냐면 Q-Day 얘기를 많이 했어요. 그래서 앞으로 뭐 미 전쟁부 Department of War 같은 경우는 3년 안에 이 이 양자 컴퓨터가 우리가 쓰고 있는 암호 체계를 깰 수도 있다라는 말을 정부 차원에서 했기 때문에 그때까지 너희가 사이버 보안을 지키려면 우리 양자 보안, 양자 제품들이 너희가 필요해라고 했는데 그게 이제 먹혀들기 시작했다는 거죠. 그래서 양자가 그냥 뭐 멋있는 과학 실험이나 장난감 요 정도 수준이 아니라 사이버 보안과 직결되고 이걸 할 수 있는 회사, 그 공격과 방어 모두 양자 인프라 갖춘 회사가 IonQ밖에 없다라는 이 두 가지 포인트를 잘 설명했기 때문에 오늘 주가가 급등한 게 아닐까 이렇게 좀 생각하고 있다라고 하십니다.
And Niccolo de Masi used very specific language that the market would hear. He said Five Eyes Alliance.
Oh, right,
he said,
right.
you know, so right away, he was saying this isn't just security for the United States, which is important, but what's going to be important are our allies too, right? Right after he said security for the United States, who did he say? South Korea,
Right,
Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK, right? Those alliances is going to be very important. And I thought the very last thing, you know why that IonQ thinks this is important? The very last person who spoke was Robert Cardillo.
Right. He talked a lot.
And his thing was this is about a mission and it's about security, right? Like the gravity was about, so it's about cybersecurity, it's about defense, it's about protecting not our national but also economic security, because you want to be financial transactions if RSA's cracked means they're not secure. So I just thought that him giving him the final word, I think was a message to the market that governments are interested in this, security agencies are interested in this, and it's not just the United States, it's our allies too. So I think that's what people started to understand.
그리고 또 니콜로 데마시가 Five Eyes라는 말을 많이 했는데 이게 뭐냐면 5대 동맹국을 얘기하거든요. 미국, 영국, the Five Eyes are
Five Eyes are Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States,
미국,
and UK.
UK. 그래서
It's a signals intelligence alliance,
right. 그래서
back in the day. Yeah.
뭐 첩보 동맹인데 이 얘기를 많이 했어요. 그래서 앞으로 이쪽으로도 매출이 많이 나올 거다라고 했고 또 이 전체적인 행사 흐름을 보면 맞아요. 로버트 카딜로 이분이 얘기를 많이 했는데 이분이 전 미국 국가정보국인가 거기 국장입니다. 그래서 대통령한테 뭐 100번인가 400번인가 일일 브리핑을 했을 정도로 굉장히 첩보 면에서 높은 사람인데 이 사람한테 많은 말을 하게 해가지고 이제 우리가 양자 컴퓨터를 하는 거는 단순히 우리만을 위해서가 아니라 미국의 국가적인 안보 이런 것들을 위해서 반드시 우리가 해야 되고 승리해야 된다 이런 얘기를 하면서 또 이 회사가 단순히 그냥 뭐 실험만 하는 회사가 아니고 진짜 국가 차원에서 꼭 필요한 회사고 그걸 해내고 앞으로 동맹국들과도 같이 하면서 매출 내겠다 이런 얘기를 해줬기 때문에 굉장히 중요했다는 거죠.
But what I think is also exciting for us IonQ investors is that what I hear IonQ saying is that we're developing the most powerful cyber warfare weapon, but we're also going to sell the solution.
And the defense.
Yeah, so because we're creating the most powerful weapon, we know how to protect against it.
Right,
So
like
that means two revenue streams, right? You make money on this end, and then you make money on the defense of it. So I think and the other thing too here, Sean, and everyone, is that when you talk about sovereign nations making these kinds of what are really an infrastructure level investments in their security, that's very sticky revenue, and it's recurring
and huge.
It's they're large, but it's sticky and it's recurring. And as an investor, you love to hear sticky recurring revenue because that means it's not going to be something that South Korea isn't going to be like, we care about cybersecurity for this one time and then we're not going to care about it anymore. Once a nation has a secure quantum network that's unhackable, they're going to want to continue keeping it. So you got to keep maintaining it, keep servicing it, right? So it's and again, I think those are things that investors hear and they respond to. But the other thing too, I've been giving all these examples. It could have been as simple as the Oxford Ionics deal came through.
Oh, right.
It could have been as simple as because that was the biggest risk to the company. Honestly, like
Right.
if your market cap is $10 billion and you put $1 billion towards one investment, that's just your all your chips are being bet
Right.
on that. And basically, they're signaling, right? They're like, this is the technology we need in order to really scale. Well, if the deal fell through, where's the company left with? So maybe there was just a sigh of relief that that deal happened, that people are like, okay, the risk is gone, and now I can go forward. So the Oxford Ionics deal probably had a lot I gave all this analysis, but now that we're talking it through, I think that had a big part of why the market, the sophisticated investors went, oh, okay, the risk is gone, they can move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
그리고 또 주가가 오른 이유에 대해서 이제 아이온큐가 뭐 양자적인 공격도 이제 양자 컴퓨터를 개발하면서 우리가 할 수 있고 그거에 대한 방어 솔루션도 양자 네트워킹 뭐 QKD 이런 것들을 할 수 있다라고 했거든요. 그래서 공격과 방어를 다 가지고 있기 때문에 우리가 공격하면 뚫을 수 있는데 그거 너희 막을 솔루션 우리가 가지고 있다. 이 두 가지를 다 가져가는 게 굉장히 스마트하고 앞으로 큰 매출을 낼 수 있다는 거죠. 그리고 더 나아가서 이거를 이 솔루션을 가져갈 곳은 국가적인 차원입니다. 그래서 이런 국가들이 우리 그런 양자적인 보안과 인프라 필요해. 그러면 이제 국가들이 그 계약들을 수주하게 되면 아이온큐가 굉장히 끈적한 매출을 가져간다라고 했는데 한 번 일회성이 아니라 계속 발생하면서 그 규모가 어마어마하다는 거죠. 정부가 하기 때문에. 그래서 앞으로 그런 정부, 국가적인 차원에서의 매출이 나올 것 같다. 라고 얘기를 했고요. 또 표면적으로 오늘 주가가 급등했던 이유 중에 하나는 옥스퍼드 이오닉스 인수가 완료됐기 때문입니다. 이제 조건부로 뭐 영국 안에서 개발해야 되고 영국이 원하면 하드웨어 보여줘야 되고 이런 것들이 있긴 했지만 아이온큐가 $1 빌리언 컴퍼니인데 10억 불짜리인데 여기에 1빌리언을 넣었단 말이에요. 그러니까 거의 올인을 했다라고 보는 거죠. 이 옥스퍼드 이오닉스를 인수하기 위해서. 그리고 그 회사를 인수해야만 기술적 로드맵이 말이 되고 실현할 수 있는데 그 리스크가 해소가 됐기 때문에 이제 지켜보고 있던 투자자들이 들어오면서 주가가 많이 올랐을 수도 있다라고 얘기를 했습니다.
Yeah, and so I just think, and if you see the live stream that Sean was working on, there's a slide, and on the slide it's like, here's Quantinium, here's IonQ, and then Oxford Ionics is way over here. Like Oxford Ionics is way advanced more than everyone else, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so the idea being that because Oxford Ionics is way over here, that gives IonQ a huge advantage. If the deal didn't go through, then all of a sudden they're back they're back over here. So I think as soon as they announced today that Oxford Ionics is the deal's going to go through, everyone went, oh, so now this one that's way over here, exactly,
Right,
yeah, this one that's way over here. Now that's IonQ. Now IonQ is way over here, and I think the market reacted to that.
그래서 그 크리스 발라스 CEO가 발표한 내용 중에 양자 컴퓨터가 좋아지려면 이 세로축은 큐비트 수, 가로축은 이제 성과, 오류율이 얼마나 낮은가 이걸 보여주는데 아이온큐가 딱 중간 정도에 있었고 큐비트 수도 적당히 많고 오류율도 적당히 좋다. 근데 옥스퍼드 이오닉스 같은 경우는 이쪽 오른쪽 밑에 있었습니다. 그래서 아직은 큐비트 수가 적지만 오류율이 낮다. 그래서 이 두 개가 합쳐지면 이제 이 위로 온다는 거죠. 큐비트 수도 많고 오류율도 적고. 그래서 아마 시장은 옥스퍼드 이오닉스 인수가 완료됐기 때문에 이제 아이온큐를 여기에 있다고 보는 게 아니라 여기 있다고 본다. 1등이 될 수 있는 가능성이 높아졌다고 봤다라고 합니다.
And so here's the thing is that the reason why Oxford Ionics, just for context for everyone, is so important is that trapped ions, their weakness is that they do everything well, but their weaknesses is that they're slow. So everyone else has a weakness. Their particular weakness is that compared to everyone else, other modalities like superconducting and everything else, trapped ions is slow. Well, with Oxford Ionics, all of a sudden, their weakness is now their biggest strength. Now they're really fast. So now, all the way across the board, trapped ion is superior. Like no other modality can say we have better coherence or better fidelity or better, like the other things you check that you would want. And so this is significant because it makes IonQ fast, and that was its greatest weakness for trapped ions.
So by speed, you mean the actual operation speed
Of the gates, gates. Yeah, it gives them faster gates.
You mean on the Oxford Ionics side or
For the IonQ side, right? Like so it drives, you know, in these sub microsecond, and we can I can post their papers on that. But that's why this was very important for IonQ to acquire, is because it's speed. You know, that when it just trapped ions have so many things that are good, but they're just not fast enough.
I didn't know Oxford Ionics had a fast
gates.
speed.
Yeah, so that's why IonQ wanted them. So imagine if IonQ didn't get this deal, well then they're going to be slow. Yeah, they're not going to be as fast.
그리고 또 옥스퍼드 이오닉스 인수가 중요한 게 얘네가 이제 높은 충실도, 이제 낮은 오류율이죠. 그걸로 이제 세계 1등인데 여기에 이제 게이트 속도도 빠르기 때문에 이 두 가지를 다 취할 수 있었기 때문에 아이온큐가 앞으로 1등이 될 가능성이 높아졌다. 그래서 이 인수가 여러 불확실성을 극복시키고 이제 기존의 이온 트랩 방식이 뭐 양자 결맞음 시간도 길고 또 충실도도 좋고 이런데 이제 속도 느리고 확장성이 없다 이거였는데 이걸 이제 극복할 수 있는 기반이 마련이 됐다는 거죠.
So again, why IonQ is different is that they have Oxford Ionics for the gates, they have Light Sync for memory and transport, and then you have Capella Space for QKD and ISR. So those three together, that's why they said something very important. They said this isn't 1 + 1 = 3.
Right.
It's 1 + 1 = 30.
Right.
And they're exaggerating, but what their point being is that these teams coming together produces something much better than any of them could have imagined. Because you could just see in their faces that, like, you have to imagine like a competitor. You look and these were like your fiercest competitors, and now they're your colleagues. You know, you get excited because you're like, oh my gosh, look what we can do if we're all on the same team. You know, so but that's what they bring is speed. That's what they bring.
그래서 옥스퍼드 이오닉스는 이제 속도를 가져오죠. 연산 속도가 빠른 거, 그리고 카펠라 스페이스는 우주 역량, 그리고 첩보, 그리고 QKD라는 기술을 가져오고 라이트 싱크는 양자 메모리를 가져와서 이제 포토닉 인터커넥트를 가능하게 해주는데 이것들이 다 모여서 니콜로 데마시가 뭐라고 했냐면 1+1은 2 또는 3이 아니라 30이다. 우리가 그걸 만들고 있다는 거죠. 그래서 필요한 기술들을 흡수합병해서 그런 시너지를 앞으로 만들 거고 이들이 원래 인수합병하지 않았으면 서로가 경쟁사이기 때문에 힘들 수 있는데 함께하기 때문에 우리가 뭘 할 수 있을지 기대한다. 이런 눈빛들이 좀 보였다라고 얘기를 하시네요.
And see, the where this is going is IonQ's argument is that, and Chris Monroe made this argument originally, is that you're not going to get the powerful quantum computer. This, like IBM is like, we're going to build this huge quantum computer and it's going to be super powerful. No, you're going to have a bunch of little tiny quantum computers all connected together. Well, the way you do that, they're all going to be connected together photonically, and now they're going to become one big computer. The only way that works is you need Oxford Ionics for the fast gates. You need Light Sync for memory, because that's what that quantum repeater and everything that they were talking about. And you need QKD, and you need the orbital layer that Capella brings, like that. So that's why they're really imagining that the vision that Chris Monroe imagined, which was a bunch of small quantum computers all connected together, not one big machine, because it's just not practical. Yeah. So that's why all this is relevant.
그리고 또 IBM 같은 경우는 엄청나게 큰 양자 컴퓨터를 만들어서 큐비트를 많이 넣겠다 이렇게 하는데 아이온큐는 그게 아니라 작은 양자칩에 수많은 큐비트를 넣어서 이걸 이제 연결하겠다. 그래서 거기에 필요한 옥스퍼드 이오닉스, 카펠라 스페이스, 그리고 라이트 싱크. 얘네들을 가져와서 이제 크리스 먼로가 꿈꾸던 이제 양자 모듈 칩들이 연결되는 이거를 크리스 먼로 박사님이 실제로 나와서 얘기했어요. 내가 이걸 구상했는데 실제로 구체적으로 필요한 기술들이 우리는 좀 부족했는데 이제는 준비가 되고 있다라고 했다는 거죠. 그래서 이런 배경으로 IonQ가 이제 1등이 됐다 이렇게 좀 얘기를 하고 있고 we only have 8 more minutes
Okay.
we could record
Okay.
so
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah,
could
yeah.
make it short.
Yeah. And then you know, I think the other compelling thing was that slide that Jordan Shapiro was talking about how the power of having quantum computing and quantum networking. So everyone pay attention what's happening in Tennessee, because then that EPB quantum network happens. This is significant, and then I think that one down, which is there's somewhere where he was like showing something. It was really go down one more. Yes, this one, where he was like, there's the compute zone and the interconnect zone, and how they're kind of shuttling and able to use them for multiple purposes. You know, the way we imagine it is just interconnect or just compute, but like I didn't quite. I have to study this further, but I thought that was really interesting. And also that slide you showed, that's up. That's again that.
The one shot.
Yeah. That's. I mean, that is a bold statement.
Right.
That is a bold
That was
statement. Like
amazing.
they're like, we are going to be the place for networking, and that's Cisco. So in a lot of ways, they're being NVIDIA and Cisco combined. You know, you have that software layer of NVIDIA, that control layer with Cisco, all in one. And so this is, this is going to be a very powerful company.
Right.
They're going to have a lot of leverage and a lot of control. Yeah.
그래서 또 조단 셰피로 상무가 전무죠 이제 발표했던 내용을 보면은 몇 가지 진전을 얘기해주긴 했는데 깊게는 얘기를 안 했어요. 이제 맛보기적으로 얘기를 해줬는데 특별히 이 칩 내에서 계산하는 존이 있고 이 합쳐지는 인터커넥트 존이 있는데 이걸 왔다 갔다 하면서 큐비트를 쓸 수 있다. 그러니까 큐비트를 효율적으로 더 적게 계산도 하고 연결도 하고 이걸 할 수 있다. 이 부분 우리가 정확히는 이해 못했는데 어쨌거나 이런 기술적인 진전이 있었고 또 두 번째로는 이걸 얘기해줬어요. So they were able to use the existing fiber to do the
That's
remote
amazing.
entanglement,
Yes,
right?
yes.
This was
Because
an important one.
this is another important one, because the thing to understand, everyone, is that there's been like trillions of dollars invested in telecom fiber, right? Like telecom fiber has been laid everywhere around the world. So what they're saying is that in order to do quantum networking, you don't have to change, you don't have to make this
that was amazing.
investment to lay new fiber down. You can use the existing fiber. The other a part of this was what they were saying with Oxford Ionics, right? Like in order to do this manufacturing, you don't even have to retool anything.
Right.
You can use the semiconductor,
Right.
you know,
Existing
the
line.
existing semiconductor wafers or however they build that. So if I can, so the reason why they're thinking how massively they could scale is if we use existing semiconductor wafer and existing telecom fiber, we can instantly
Right.
scale. You know, and that's a huge that collapses the timeline. You know, that takes from something being years and years and years away to being like urgent and right now. Yeah.
그리고 또 다음번으로 얘기한 게 One Stop Shop for Full Quantum Networks라고 했는데 그러니까 완전한 양자 네트워크 전체를 IonQ 오면 한 번에 살 수 있다. 그래서 뭐 양자 연결부터 시작해서 양자 장치 간의 안전한 통신 뭐 이런 것들 이걸 이제 IonQ가 전부 갖췄기 때문에 이제 양자 공격이 두려워? 그럼 IonQ한테 와. 그럼 우리가 너희한테 필요한 거 다 줄게. 요게 앞으로 굉장히 큰 매출을 낼 것이라고 생각하고 또 두 번째로 발표했던 게 미 공군연구소랑 지금 하고 있는 게 양자적인 신호를 주고받는 거를 새로운 통신선을 까는 게 아니라 기존에 깔려있던 광통신선을 쓸 수 있게 하는 거를 성공을 했다라고 합니다. 그래서 이런 옥스퍼드 이오닉스를 인수함으로써 기존 반도체 라인에서 양자적인 부품들을 생산할 수 있는 거 그리고 이 양자 네트워킹을 기존 광섬유 통신선에서 할 수 있는 거 이것들이 이제 양자적인 제품을 조만간 큰 투자 없이도 깔고 만들고 팔 수 있다는 거는 굉장히 빠르게 기술이 가속화되면서 상업화되고 있다라고 우리가 볼 수 있었고요. So maybe we could go to conclusion.
Yeah, we have a few minutes. Yeah. You know, what were your kind of final?
Well, I like that Nicolo emphasized a lot that we are 5 years ahead of our competitors and they will never catch up.
But I think too is the concrete reasons why behind that. You know, because sometimes you say 5 years, and the reasons why is that the power requirements. You know, they just need less power than everyone else. So again, when you start looking at cost per qubit. So if you think about like a manufacturing mentality, it's like the unit economics start being important, right? So it's like the cost to produce this stuff. There's going to be a big difference between what IonQ does and everyone
like
else.
20 times difference.
Exactly right. Yeah. So it's going to be way more. You know, it's going to be cost prohibitive for a lot of folks, and so I just think overall what a difference it is. I think is meeting people in the room, like in person.
Right.
It's very different than like objectively, you know, kind of how you see them from a distance. You kind of get the sense of like, you know, who they are. And my read, which I could never have done if I hadn't had this experiences, is that these are very competitive people.
Right.
Like they want to win.
That's a good find.
They want to win. They are not, you know. If you're out looking at the outside in, you're like, oh, you're doing these things because you want some kind of acquisition. No, these are folks that are they want to have their names in that chapter of, you know, the technology story, and that came across to me offline, you know, outside of it very clearly, and so that's very compelling to me.
그래서 저한테는 어떤 점이 좋았냐라고 해서 전 니콜로 사장님이 우리는 경쟁사보다 5년 앞서 있고 절대로 못 따라잡는다, 그 부분이 굉장히 좋았는데, 그게 결국에는 이제 데스몬드님이 말씀해 주셨지만 기술력뿐만 아니라 큐빗당 비용도 굉장히 낮다. 그래서 뭐 결국엔 궁극적으로 경쟁사들은 수십억 달러가 드는데 우리는 수천만 달러 선에서 20배 차이가 난다. 이런 면에서 굉장히 이제 아이온큐가 잘 하고 있구나라는 걸 느꼈고, 특히 이제 온라인으로는 우리가 그 사람들을 봤지만 오프라인에서 만나면서 어떤 사람인지 감이 오잖아요. 근데 이 사람들이 굉장히 열정적이고 파이팅 넘치는 사람이고 자신감이 있다. 이런 부분에서 투자에서도 좀 더 자신감을 얻었다. 이렇게 좀 얘기를 했습니다. Alright, so we did interview for 45 minutes.
We did.
Now we should go and have some fun.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
everyone.
Yes, this is a great experience. I'm having a great time here with Sean.
I love that nobody is losing their money in IonQ for at least for this night.
Yeah, correct.
We
correct.
are at the all-time
high. So we're
so
heroes.
we
So we're okay.
now.
We're okay. For today, for the weekend, we're going to be okay.
그래서 이제 제가 마지막으로 얘기한 게, 이제 신고가를 찍었으니까 아무도 물린 사람이 없어 너무 행복하다. 그래서 우리가 또 다음번에 좋은 시간을 내서 인터뷰 해보려고 제가 또 노력을 해보도록 하겠습니다.
But also, everyone, we're just getting started.
네,
This is
이제
just getting.
시작입니다. 네.
This is the beginning of the story. So
Right.
many more exciting days and many more transitions and developments. And so I'm much even more excited now than I've ever been. So this is the very beginning of the story.
이제 막 시작이기 때문에 앞으로 우리가 기대감을 가지고 또 지켜보자라고 얘기를 했습니다. Alright, we'll
Okay.
conclude here. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Good
고맙습니다.
night.